had to turn the mics down to record something earlier, so I'll just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How I sound?
Sound great.
Yay!
You ready to get started?
If you are.
All right, here we go. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I am your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we are live, ready to do a recap of Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, is what it's really called.
Yay!
House of the Dragon, or House of Dragons, as blacks call it. Episode, I want to say this is episode 5. It's called We Like the Way. And before I even get started, I'll ask you, Karen, like I always ask you, what you think about this episode in general?
Oh, this episode was good. This episode was something where I was like, because when you seen the previews from the previous episode, you was like, I don't know what's getting ready to happen, but I know it's about to get crunk. Mm-hmm. And Lord, it was like a soap opera. It was one of them things when you look at TV and all of a sudden, for those of you who sat down and watched the TV with your grandma in between Price is Right, and she's sitting there, she'll be like, ooh, child, no, they didn't show up, and what they doing here? That's how I felt this episode.
Yeah, this episode was a lot. It was very messy. It was violent. It was ghetto.
The ghetto.
It was everything that we've come to expect in an episode without a war. There was still death and battles, and we about to get right into it.
People still took them L's.
Not too much. Don't want that copyright infringement, but
ain't that the truth?
That's right. It's Game of Thrones recap time, everybody. AKA them Thrones, them Dragons, however y'all want to call it. Episode 5, We Like the Way. Just running over a couple quick things. You can leave feedback. I like it when people wait till after we do our recap to leave feedback, because if you just leave feedback on like Sunday, you're just telling us how you feel about the show that you watched, but you're not telling us anything about our podcast. You're not telling anything about our thoughts about what happened.
Nope.
And our feedback is really for us. It's for what we said, you know? Hey, I mean, you want to write about how you felt Sunday, start a blog. Okay. But this is for the Blackout Tip. So we love that. Also, no predictions, no prophecies, no whatever. I know you niggas read the books. You already know who's going to be good. You already know who's going to be bad, who's going to kill who, all that shit. Don't ruin it for us and the rest of the fans that don't know, that didn't read those books. Mm-hmm. Okay. Not that I'm a Kanye West person, but I didn't read these books. Okay. They're like Brussels sprouts to me, except my Brussels sprouts are delicious. You just got to know how to cook them. But yeah, so don't do that. Y'all have been doing an outstanding job as fans, listeners, people that write in and do feedback and stuff. Y'all have been doing such a great job this season. Mm-hmm. This is much better than the last time we did Game of Thrones. Yes, and we had to like fight and fuss with people for weeks and weeks and weeks to be like, stop spoiling shit. We don't care. And yeah, don't write in with nerdy shit that you saw somebody else say on somebody else's recap. We don't do those recaps.
Well, actually, Rod.
Yeah.
Did you know this is the 5th descendant?
Yeah, we can learn that. If we want to know that, we read the books. Okay. All right, that's it for the ground rules, not the fuss. Let's get right into the breakdown of We Like the Way. So we start in the Vale, which is the home of Daemon's betrothed. Like, this is his wife, Lady Rhea, who he calls his bronze bitch many times. He refers to her as ugly and hostile and all this stuff. And so he was cast out of the King's Landing and told to go to the Vale and be with his lady wife by the king last episode.
Yeah, that lady wife thing made me laugh. And when they showed up and they was like the Vale, I was like, oh bitch, I know this place. This is where Littlefinger and Sansa and them was. And old girl got pushed out that hole 10,000 feet in the air.
And of course, Lord Robin, the titty milk baby.
Yes,
that was still breastfeeding at like 6 or whatever the fuck. So yeah, it was a lot going on in the Vale. But this is of course 200 years in the past or whatever. So it's we meet Lady Rhea for the first time, and we meet her through her cousin, whose name is like Gerald Royce. These nigga names, y'all. I'm honestly shocked. I normally am not shocked, but I'm actually shocked this time at all these people who read these books.
Right. With all these complicated ass names.
They have all these untraditional, let's say, they have all these untraditional names, nigga names. And when the shows came out, no one had the imagination that any of these families could be black. That's crazy.
It makes no sense.
That is crazy. These names: Otto Hightower, power forward, Minneapolis Lakers. You know, like Gerald Royce. He used to sing with Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Like these names, my God. Anyway, so Gerald Royce sees cousin Rhea out, and she's on horseback, and he's like, "Hey, you want some company? Like, what you out here catching?" She's like, "Girl, no, dog, I'm just hunting. I got some pheasants, but I'm going out there deer today." He's like, "All right, well, let me know if you need some help." She's like, "I got it." And then we get like a montage about 30-40 seconds of her on her horse, and she is whipping that motherfucking horse, y'all. I mean,
yeah, you could tell. It's like, oh, she does this shit all of the time. Like this right here, her jam. On her horse, she has like several like duck and geese and shit. So I'm like, oh, she's like it's like they did it without explaining it to us. Like, oh, she's a hunter. Like you know, she don't be out here fucking around. And my thing is, there's no way she would have went by herself if she didn't think she could handle it.
Yeah, she like a outdoorsy type, and you know, she's a lady, but not put on a dress, sit in the crown, and just do that all day.
Right. She one of them people that go snaking. That thing we seen where they went in the mud and go dig down there. You pull up snakes. On pregame, I think it was a pregame or something like that.
Oh, okay. I've never heard snaking.
That's
talking about the people that put they hands in the mouth of the catfish.
Yes, I'm about to say, I know that's not what it's called, but I call it snaking. What the fuck are y'all reaching down there for?
Yeah, it's definitely not called snaking, and it wasn't snakes. It was catfish.
But you can find snakes in there. Fuck that.
Okay, sure. Anyway, so they
noodling. Thank you, y'all. My bad.
So I'm gonna send that to Hot Fire Starter.
Right.
So she's already killed a few animals and stuff, but you see her eventually pull up to this like hooded figure who's standing in the middle of her path, and it turns out it's Damon dressed like motherfucking Gargamel or the villain from Legend of Zelda.
Right. He looked like he in Assassin's Creed or some shit, like he a lower level character, like player level number 1.
Like he brought his black murder hoodie out, and just dressed and looking like problems.
Didn't he though? I was like, you just look like you ain't up to no good. And I had a feeling we would eventually see her.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, from the way he described her, I was like, I don't think she's gonna be ugly.
I knew she wasn't ugly.
I was like, this nigga just talking.
He's so fucking pressed. It's like it's Al Bundy and Peg. Where like if I could describe Married with Children to you and told you how this man feels about his wife, you like, oh, so she's just like this ugly ass. And then you see it and you're like, what the fuck is this man talking about? You know? Because he's like, oh, this ugly bronze bitch. I'd sooner fuck a sheep or whatever.
Right? And the way he was talking, he was like, she might as well have had bigger balls than me. I was like, well, what is wrong with you, sir?
So he pulls up and she seizes him and she reads him for Phil. She's like, husband, what brings you to the veil?
Right.
Or have you at last come to consummate our marriage? The veiled sheep might be willing, even if I'm not, because that's one of his lines that he always says about her. He said, our sheep are prettier after all. Or perhaps your brother has at last had his fill of your company, cast you aside in favor of a little girl. What will you do now? Will you strike the child down? Or, and then when she says, or he starts walking towards her, but yeah, the way she read him for Phil.
And you, we heard about you before you even got up here. While you have a chance, you need to be trying to get an education because your looks ain't gonna get you paid. Because you're not that cute. And your hair is uneven. You look dusty. So I'm saying, what else are you gonna do besides pander, rob, steal, try to trick some girl up out of her baby's check or something?
Yeah, she really looked at him and was just reading him to the ground, and she struck a chord because she was actually telling the truth. And I think that's, in my opinion, I think that's what made him upset. Like, he didn't say that, like, oh, that shit bothered him. Like, he didn't want to come there in the first place. And she was like, the fuck you doing here? Like, cause word gets around, lay snail mail gets around, lay eagle mail, lay pigeon mail, however they do the mail, news got back to her.
I don't know when it became French, but sure. What's funny?
Ye, I'm
ye,
sorry.
Oh, okay. Ye old. I hear you.
Ye old pigeon mail.
So the thing for me was, I can see why they didn't have children together and shit.
Yeah, they didn't like
clearly,
each other.
like it was like she sees him for the fucking piece of shit he is, and so she let him know with both barrels. She does, like, as much as he tried to roll his eyes like, oh, this arranged marriage, oh my god, she clearly was not loving his ass either.
Right, and you can tell that it was arranged marriage on both sides, and them niggas didn't fuck with each other, and she was like, I don't want you, you don't want me, like, but it's a quote unquote marriage, and it sounded like they never have had sex together,
right?
And so it's one of those things where she was like, okay, I guess you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you, you let me be, I'll let you be.
Yeah, he's clearly been talking shit about her and it's gotten back to her, so she knows how he feels because he can't keep his mouth shut. So
she got it from ye old grapevine.
So she reaches for her bow as he approaches her horse, but it's too late because I don't know how he knew how to do it. He did like horse food and made the horse like fucking throw her off of it and land on top of her, crushing her. So she couldn't move. Clearly she was paralyzed. He like put his hand on her, his foot on her arm, and she couldn't move it. So he came. I don't think it was what she said to set him off. I think he came to kill her.
And also I think she put it together when she was talking. She was like, and you can tell that second she was trying to actually ride away or some shit like that.
Well, she reached back for her bow. She was gonna kill him.
Okay. But he ended up frightening the horse before she could fuck him up.
Yeah, but it was weird how he frightened the horse. It's like he didn't have a starter pistol, and he just walked up to the horse, and the horse was like, "Oh shit, nigga!" and just bam.
I was like, "Who is you?"
Just rock bottom that lady, and she was laying on the ground, and she died cool as hell because she was paralyzed on the ground. She couldn't move, and she was like, I still knew you was a bitch. You can't finish. Yes! You craven coward ass nigga.
She was gangster to the end. She was, because it was like, it was hilarious, but actually like, well, goddamn, she was like, you punk ass bitch. I always told them you wouldn't shit. You couldn't finish the job.
Right.
Like, if you gonna kill me, nigga, kill me.
It was like, that's all you got, I'm
right.
Like, damn. So then we see Damon pick up a rock. Clearly he's gonna finish her because she's talked that shit. Then we go to there's two different segments here. I'm gonna go to King's Landing first. So in King's Landing, it's a dark and stormy afternoon. Otto Hightower is hopping on his horse out to get out of town. He done got fired and apparently banished. He can't even just chill. And honestly, smartest thing Viserys has done, because you just don't leave these kind of motherfuckers hanging around. Like,
because like he was the hand of the king, so you can't leave the man that like know all the passwords, the passcodes. Right. You can't leave the man that's like over all the paperwork and shit like that. That would be the dumbest thing ever. Like, nigga, I can't have you in here burning this bitch down. You got the security. Escort him out, please.
Yeah, he's got the pin to the bank account, so he gotta go.
They took his key card. They was like, give us the key card. Give us your coat. You can't even wear shit with the paraphernalia on it. Give it all back, please, sir.
Right. So he's turning in his Wendy's shirt, his polo, and getting his last check.
They was like, give us the apron. No, sir.
So Allison is sad. She comes to see him off, and she's crying in the rain, like, I told the king not to kick you out. This is, this wasn't my doing. And he was like, yes, the fuck it was. it was your doing when you picked Rhaenyra's side. You picked her, and Allison was, to her credit, still defending Rhaenyra. Like, but I believe her. She said it didn't happen. Somebody must have told you wrong.
Right.
But I didn't foresee this. I didn't think you get fired
she did
for this, and I believe her.
Yeah, she did, because if she would have thought that was going to be the result, she wouldn't have even confronted her.
Right. And so she ends up crying and shit, and he comes over to her and was like, oh no, she says, if you hadn't been so relentless and pushing for Aegon to be on the throne, and he cut her off like, listen, shawty, the king is old and sick and he finna die.
And of course he would know that.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows it, right?
Like, he's in there every time he getting treatment. So he's like, he's gonna die soon. And then Ray gonna take the throne. And it's gonna be a fucking war. Because the realm will not accept her as queen as long as Aegon exists. And if Aegon ain't on the fucking throne, she ain't gonna have a choice. But Ray gonna have to kill you, or at least kill your kids, so that people won't have an alternative to her rule, and they'll be like, all right, well, she the queen, we don't have a choice. And he was like, you need to prepare your son to rule, or you need to cleave to Rhaenyra and pray for her mercy. And then for the first time ever, we see him like hug her, and she is crying. And then he hops on his horse and heads on out of the Old Town Road.
Yeah, and it's also one of them things where, like, when an employee that actually gets fired actually knows some shit, you know, he was the one that came to pick up his last paycheck and told everybody, hey, y'all, I want y'all to know this shit fucked up. This is why it's fucked up. Y'all keep fucking around. Y'all gonna be on the other side like me. Like there's something wrong up in here. That's what he basically told her. Like, hey, dog, like, you know, as much of a ain't shit daddy I am, you know, I'm just keeping it real. And you love your kids now. Fuck me, but you love your kids. And this is gonna be a problem.
Yeah, and once again, because of the writing on the show has been very, like, to me, giving everybody positive attributes and negative attributes. Except for Otto, who almost completely feels like a completely, like, straightforward power grab type of dude. I imagine the balance is coming. I think he's gonna end up being right about a lot of this shit.
Yeah.
And I really think history will be quote unquote kind to him in a way that the present is not. Because right now it's just like, God damn, nigga, still you on this bullshit. But if Rhaenyra is the type to be like, what the fuck do you mean they won't accept me? Well, then kill the other people. Then now they don't have a choice but to accept me. Because I think Rhaenyra this week and in the past has shown some moments of, like, wanting that power and wanting that throne and wanting to rule and being impulsive at the same time. And maybe she could be this ruthless. We'll see. But Otto seems to have a history of, he knows the history of Westeros and how shit is gone. And he is always every week looking around like,
wait, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. These Negroes don't know nothing about history. These Negroes don't know. Let me get this straight.
That every week.
Right? He was like, I've been the hand of two kings. Right. And I've seen, like, niggas die. And I've seen, you know, the fallout of all this stuff. Like, I've been here when wars and shit broke out, probably before she was born. So, you know, in his mind, he was like, yeah, I know, I've been in these meetings. I know how these niggas think. Like, this is not going to go well.
It was the word choice of, she won't have a choice when talking about Rhaenyra that made me be like, oh, man, I mean, I've always been looking at it like, I just want my son on the throne, when he may have been looking at it like, look, I don't want it to happen. This is what's gonna happen. Like,
so
like this isn't
peacefully or either not peacefully.
Like, it don't really matter what the Targaryens say they want. This is how it's gonna go. Like, sure, Viserys is a nice dude and thinks he can get his daughter on the crown. We ain't never had a woman rule, so when that shit don't work, they gonna come to your son. So you need to be ready for your son to take the throne, because she is half-assing it, and her dad is out to lunch on this like, it'll be okay bullshit. I'm not saying it makes him good, but it's the only way I can see them redeeming his character a little bit. So the other thing I thought was this: does Viserys now see Alicent as an extension of Otto's plotting? Because they left her behind when they went to on that trip.
And I thought it was strange. I was like, why would you? Because not trying to fight, she's not pregnant anymore.
Right, she's a queen.
So I was like, wouldn't it be very important for you two to go as a force together to actually do what you're going to explain later on, to do that together?
Yeah,
versus he's just going by himself and just leaving you at the house.
And I would imagine there's a wedge between them because he has kicked their father out of King's Landing. There's not too many people on Earth that would just be cool with that. She doesn't hate her father as much as the audience may hate her father, right? She just sees her father as, oh, he was mistaken. We see her father as like, oh, you plotting ass, power hungry nigga, get the fuck out. So it would make sense there would be a wedge between them based on how that worked out. It's not like he consulted her about firing this. And then she finds out something in the next scene that I think went over a lot of people's heads.
Yeah, and also, excuse me, and also I think for her, they didn't agree in it, and I think it may have been something where she was like, well, you could go, I'll stay here. Like, I think
I mean, it could have been, but we don't get that.
Right. Yeah, we don't get that conversation.
And so it makes me wonder if the king is the one who sees it, or she's the one that's starting to see like, oh, this is some bullshit, you know?
Yeah, and I could see him, like you said, not trusting her. Because like I said, after some other things, you know, she's gonna feel a certain way, and I understand why. But I could see it where, you know, she was like, I could believe her, and he was like, that bitch did something. Like, you know, I understand what you're saying, but yeah, I don't believe her.
All right, so in the next scene, she's standing out by the God's Wood, you know, with the face tree at.
Mm-hmm. But her eyes is bleeding.
Yeah, and Lord Larys Strong, who's the guy with the cane and his leg got fucked up somehow. He slides up on her, so she must have been very paying a lot of attention to that tree, because
and she was.
You wouldn't think that dude was the slide up on you type of dude, but he snuck up out of nowhere.
Yeah, because I think she was just sitting up in my room, just sitting and thinking and pondering, just walking around without like escort or like nobody around her. You know, because I wouldn't be surprising if a percentage of the people that normally would have been kind of in earshot is gone with the king. And so security is kind of lax. So, you know, and I'm like you, because of his cane and his foot and stuff, looked like he would have made some form of noise. But she was you could tell. I was like, oh, she's in her thought. He was.
But also like maybe he's sneaky, because the way he was talking felt sneaky to me. Hey, because he sneaks up. He just starts talking. An outsider among the natives, he says, which we know that's how Alicent is feeling now. Without her father around, Targaryens everywhere, she's alone essentially for the first time ever.
And also I think too, with him not having the ability to quote unquote do manly things, I think he has the ability to sit and listen, because he's the type of person that will be like, hey ladies, can I join y'all? And actually be soaking up everything they be saying. Like, he probably just sits around, and because of his condition, nobody pays him any attention. Nobody really thinks he's listening.
Well, I know he loves mess.
Yes, he does.
And the reason I know that is because he sat with the women at the cookout. And I know too, because I too sit with the women at the cookout, and I too love mess. Okay. Call me Marie Kondo. He basically, when she turns towards him like to see like, oh, he must be talking about me, he's like, oh no, I'm talking about this flower. This flower is from Dorne, and yet it's blooming here in this castle. It's not supposed to be able to do that. And you know, but it's clearly an allegory for her. Like, you're like this flower, but he doesn't say it. He's very quote unquote cunning, I guess, in that way. And he's like, but yeah, you know, I'm not talking about you being left behind on your own, an outsider to this marriage process, this proposal, left from this trip. Your daddy ain't here. No, I'm not talking about you being an outsider amongst the natives. No, I'm just talking about this flower. And she was like, well, we have had lovely weather lately. And he says, well, not today. It's a bad day because your daddy got fired. He was a good man. And she was like, it's your brother that took his place. Lionel Strong is the new hand of the king. So it's a come up for y'all. And he's like, yeah, but still, it's a damn shame how they did your daddy. And she asked like, well, what you know about my dad getting fired anyway? He was like, I mean, what would I know? I don't know anything.
I don't
but
know anything.
look like you could lead. You need an ally. And she was like, I'm the queen. I have no shortage of allies. He's like, oh, of course. Yeah, I know. You got mad friends, baby. Naturally. Like Princess Renaria. She your friend, ain't she? Ain't she? And she was like, yeah, that's my dog. And he was like, well, that's interesting because I know she's unwell and that must be taking a toll on you. And she was like, unwell where?
Right.
Wait, what you talking about? And he was like, oh, my bad. I just assumed because she had that tea delivered from the Grand Maester.
So word got out
under the direction of the king. You know, you remember she didn't tell you about that? And she was like, nah, she fine. She went on a trip to Driftwood or Driftmark today, so she good. It was like, I mean, silly me. I guess must just be a rumor. I'm glad to know that everything is cool and that y'all.
And that she's feeling better.
Yeah, glad to know she's feeling better and that so don't even worry about it. You know how it is. It's so good. Well, I do hope she's not unwell. And Allison is like, yeah, well, I'm gonna head on back to the crib or whatever. And he's like, oh, good, because it's such a relief to know that tea had nothing to do with anything. And I'm just gonna plant this seed right here next to this other tree in the garden in your brain, because you ain't gonna be able to get rid of this. So that's all that we get from her in King's Landing at this point. But the point being, her dad's got kicked out. She's feeling isolated. Lord Laris is putting shit in her brain of like, you can't trust him, girl. She fucked Damon. That's why she took that tea.
He didn't say that, but that's what you know, because word is getting out of people. And the more I think about it, from what he said, he did leave her behind. I thought it was her choice, but sound like he basically was like, you stay here, I'm gonna go without you.
Yeah. And like I said, I think he's one of those people that has plausible deniability because he's shady. He never directly says what he's trying to put in your head.
Right.
Like if you look at his dialogue in the scene, it's very much like, oh damn, I thought she was sick. My bad. So I guess that tea she got delivered is not because she maybe was pregnant. Oh, I mean, I'm saying it's not. I'm not saying it is, but you know what he means is it is,
And it's also one of those things where they knew she was there by herself. Like this was plotted. Like he knew she was there by herself. He knows she don't got no allies. Like this is somebody that's actually been paying really, really, really close attention to the background,
right,
into things, that's been happening around her. And so it was one of those things where, word gets out. I don't know if the Maester said anything or the people that may have been assisting the Maester said anything.
Or Laris just knows shit or something, but he knows
somebody that's talking.
He's sneaky. He be knowing shit, and I don't trust him. So then we get to the seafaring journey of the king and Renarias. They are going to Driftmark to see the Valerian family and a nice ass castle. We finally got a piece of the Listen, their house was nice as fuck.
Wasn't it though?
Listen, okay?
It was all decked out.
The motherfucking Huxtables of Westeros out this bitch.
Long hallways.
Compared to King's Landing, they castle is the shit. Like King's Landing castle is the ghetto compared to the way these niggas is living. So yeah, they pulled up to this island, and the name of the castle is High Tide. And on the journey, Corlys's crib, the king is getting sick, and he's sick already just from the dragon sugars, but he also got like some weird like seasickness because he's pulling up on them in the middle of like a squall. Like it's a fucking storm. This nigga was so pressed to get this proposal going, he fucking rode out in the middle of the storm instead of just waiting it out or letting them come to him.
And I know why. The biggest reason, in my opinion, the biggest reason why he knows that she was out here fucking. And he was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to get to them as soon as possible before motherfucking word gets up here, and then they tell me no.
Yeah, I think Viserys is very much on this, like, I can't trust nobody to do what the fuck I tell them.
Mm-mm.
So I'm just gonna move as fast as possible to get everything done, so these niggas can't keep fucking it up. Because the longer I wait, the more they fuck up, and everyone is fucking up.
Mm-hmm.
His plan, including Rhaenyra, Daemon, Otto, shit. At this point, probably Allison. Everyone is just like, no, nigga, to him. So they pull up on this castle or whatever. Lionel Strong is the new hand of the king.
And you was right. You said that's who we was gonna pick.
He seemed to be the obvious choice. He's the only nigga that's not pressed to damn, like, be on the throne.
Take over, right?
Yeah.
He was like, I don't want that position.
He always tell him the right thing to do and shit. Listen, this, I cannot overstate how disheveled and tired Viserys looked this whole episode. Honestly, this was his Michael Jordan flu game.
when it do?
Like, he looked like when Scotty had Michael on his arm against the Utah Jazz. Like, come on, brother,
we gonna make it.
We need you to get 40 tonight, Mike. I'm sorry. Like, that's how he was looking like that the whole fucking episode. Everything was a lot of effort. If I'm getting too old for this shit was a person, it's Viserys. Okay.
The whole goddamn episode.
So they end up arriving there, and Corlys isn't there to greet him. Laenor and his white boy he's sparring with, they was just, and they weren't sparring like they were prepared for the king to come. They like was just playing around. It's like they were shooting hoops, and then it's like, oh damn, the king's here. What's up, man?
Like, this is some shit that they do every day.
No fanfare, no receiving party.
Nope. Nobody. They showed up to an empty ass parking lot and was like, bitch, what's this?
And my man Lionel Strong was incensed.
Yes, because it was like, the motherfucking king come out here. You don't have an opening party. We come out here and y'all niggas is playing flag football in the corner. The fuck is this?
Right. He was out there.
Welcome to your ghetto antics, no bounds.
Okay. He was very upset. It's like, what is this bullshit?
Right. He was like, I just got the job. I'm not trying to get fired.
Like, y'all are fucking up. Where's the horns and shit? And Lady Lena and her uncle Vaemon come down the steps to welcome them. Like, hey, welcome. And Lord Strong like, why didn't Corlys come to greet us himself? And Ray and Laenor exchanged glances. But the king is like, you know what, man? Let's just get this over with. I don't even give a fuck.
He was like, who gives a fuck?
Let's
go ahead and let's just go ahead and get this over with. Fuck it. Like, it's not that important to me. You know, to him it's probably like less steps. He looked like I actually just wanted to take some Pepto-Bismol, some Theraflu, some Robitussin to go to bed. But you know, I got to be here, so fuck it. Let's just who cares?
He just want to lay down.
Right.
So the king and Lord Strong go into this room to meet with Corlys and Rhaenys. And then Lena and Ray are basically blocked out by the knights who say, sorry, but y'all can't go in here. They about to negotiate y'all wedding or whatever.
Right. Like, I don't think you gonna be in here. And
as women, y'all don't have rights. So y'all can go and get the fuck on. And Lena's like, I'll take you to a tour of the kitchen. Let's see what's for breakfast. Corlys who's sitting on a throne made of like ship wood that, like, it's a very like dope looking throne. And I guess all the thrones have something to do with, I guess, the kings that sit on them or whatever.
I guess take on the personality of the people.
Him being a seafaring person is a like ship's wood. And so he bows before the king. So Lord Strong's like, hey, go ahead, you can stand up. And then the king is coughing, sounding all sick and shit.
Right. He was like, I got COVID for the third time. Excuse me.
Right. And Rhaenys comes in and takes Viserys' hand, but realizes it's a bunch of fingers missing.
Yes. You could tell she was like, oh, my bad.
Right. It was like, oh, it felt like when Joe Biden told that person to stand up that was in a wheelchair.
Yes.
It was like that when she grabbed his hand and she was like, oh shit, my bad. And she goes, are you well? And he was like, very.
Nigga, you look like you're having a hot flash. What is happening here?
Stop doing that. Stop telling lies, bro. Stop telling lies, bro. You heard what I just told you, right?
Yeah. he was lying because he don't look well. He's coughing and Big Mama in your arm. It's not going well for him, but he plays it off like, toxic masculinity. And Corliss congratulates Lord Strong on his promotion to Hand of the King and says, oh, it's a shame to hear about Otto. The king changes the subject to like, man, it's a mighty nice castle you got. I always thought y'all shit was off the hook. And of course, it's the richest man in Westeros or whatever. Right. So he's like, yeah, it's I do it.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
I mean? You know what I'm saying? This is.
I mean, we got it like that. I mean, I tried to tell y'all.
I got a couple. War. That's a Basquiat. I don't know why, but y'all don't know about Basquiat. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Okay, don't worry about that.
Yeah,
it's cool. I'm gonna get at the blue. You know what I mean?
I flew this straight from France.
Yeah, I'm gonna get us the blue ivy. So don't even worry about that. Don't stand on the blue. You own it. Then Corliss brings up Damon's wife dying by horse. He's like, yeah, man, sad to meet under these terms, with your brother's wife dying by fucking getting put in the horse figure 4 and shit.
Right.
He was
a horse death.
And they're like, yeah, they say it was a hunting mishap, but Lady Rhea was a great hunter.
Right. When he said that, was like, of course she was, because she was out there like, nah, I got this.
Yeah, and they're like, what are the odds? And then, Damon's supposed to, it's sad they don't got no children because they were supposed to inherit Runestone. And the king is like, let's talk about something else.
All right. I don't want to talk about this obituary.
So it's like, I want your son to marry my daughter, and they're going to unite the houses, and it'll be an age of dragons and ships, and 100 more years, Rick and Morty. And,
he was like, you know what? Let's cut the bullshit. This is why I came. I got a hot flash. I got long COVID. Like, come on, let's speed this shit up.
But Lord Corliss is like, I'm gonna need to read the entire user agreement. Okay.
What does the fine print say?
Before I click accept, I have a few questions. And he was like, how is succession gonna be handled? Because the way it's set up, it's looking like, the children's supposed to take the last name of the father, but then your daughter is the heir. So like, will a Valerian be on the throne? And what's gonna happen with that? And he goes, Viserys like, Rey is the heir. All her children be heirs, regardless of their gender. They can take the throne, so it don't matter whoever's the oldest. If it's a girl, they'll be on the throne. Mm-hmm. And when the kids are born, they'll be Valerians, taking their daddy's name. But once they get on this throne, they got to change it to Targaryen.
Right.
And Corliss says it's an equitable compromise.
I accept.
And this conversation,
I click the check mark box.
As always, I advise y'all go back, look at Corliss's faces specifically during these conversations. Corliss face acting is top tier on this TV show, but also he
was surprised that the negotiations went so well.
Well, also this conversation had a lot of per my last email to it. There's a lot of like Corliss being like, is that how it goes now? Because since you just changing shit up,
changing the rules,
this how y'all did my wife, okay? So so he does say it's an equitable compromise, and they can work with that. And so then the marriage is set. Like, they're going to get wed. Rey and Laenor walk the beach together. And this is where it's revealed that he's gay. Mm-hmm. And she's for the streets. Okay?
Yeah.
She's like, listen, I like duck more than I like goose, even though they kind of like the same. So like what I'm saying is, like it's just a matter of preference and nothing can really change it. Who's to say? Duck goose. You know what I'm saying? I got my ducks in the row. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Got your goose. I think you know what I mean. And I'm be honest, I didn't know what they was talking about at first.
I was like, yeah, duck is greasy. What is we talking about here? Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
think I've had geese, but I've had duck.
I straight up was like, what are they fucking talking about? And it took us, so she was like, let's strike a deal. We gonna do what we do for the realm. You know what I'm saying? You put a couple babies up in this belly. After that, we could just do whatever we want to do. And he smiled like, yeah, that's what's up. And I thought, oh, so they both are gonna just be out in these streets fucking other people. So I guess that's what Duck and Goose had to do. Like I was like, I don't know what that got to do with Ducks and Goose, but you know, a little too clever for me over my head, but cool. But turns out we find out in like a couple scenes, Lenore is gay. And the white boy that he was like sparring with, that's like his lover. So that's really what all this is about, was Duck and Goose is her being like, some people like dick. Okay, some people like pussy. You like dick. I like dick. We'll just have these babies. And then
think she may have already known, right?
Yeah, we have a couple babies, and then you know, like you go back to dick.
I mean, we could be together, you know, because we got duties, but you know, in reality, we ain't really got to fuck with each other.
Yeah, you like dick, I like dick. We'll go back to dick. I don't like Goose. He's like, I heard it could be good, not for lack of trying, but it ain't good for me. I like Goose. I like the dick, the duck stew, whatever. So then, maybe this scene was dick, but then it kept autocorrecting. I don't know, but but it also is an example of how this thing I talked about, where it's like this show is so hard on women, and I'm like, it's kind of hard on everybody because the whole thing is about sticking shit to patriarchal points of view. The only thing is not hard on, it seems to be, is race, and that's only because the author seemed to not have intended for race to be a part of this world,
right?
In that type of way. It's racing like they're from this nation, but it's not racing like this nigga's dark skinned,
right?
So we're not. That's the only thing they don't seem to have in this. But if you gay, even in the first Game of Thrones, it wasn't good for you. Like they was talking about killing motherfuckers and shit for being gay. So at any rate, it's hard for the gays out there,
right?
The good news is they can both probably listen to Renaissance together, so that's cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, so then Rhaenys tells Corlys that the king had to go lay down till his ship is ready to sail. He just basically gonna get on the ship and turn back around. And she was like, you know, it's undignified.
That nigga was like, look, I got a 24-hour turnaround. Like, my plane landed. I got 3 hours, and then it's time to get back on the ship and head back home, my nigga.
He's like, it's undignified for she said it's undignified for Viserys as king to come out here in the middle of a storm to beg for our son's hand.
Right. She was like, she started thinking about that. She was like, and he was in such a fucking rush. She was like, something is up.
Yeah, she was like, this shit is ghetto.
Right, because he normally would have waited for that storm to pass, came down here, but we could have literally got prepared. It's almost like he showed up and they found out the last minute he was coming.
So she says Corlys is not pressed about that part at all. He's like, whatever, we about to come up. Our son gonna get on the throne. Finally, justice will be done. How's Lenore and Ray getting along? She was like, boy, you know he gay. Stop playing. He was like, what?
We know our baby gay.
He was like, man, don't worry about that shit. Listen, if I know anything, having sex with a woman is great. And once he starts having sex with a woman, he gonna put them dicks away, I promise. And she was like, we are putting our son in danger.
Right.
He gonna be close to the throne. He gay. He about to be married to the ruler who will be a woman, which will be challenged. And you know somebody gonna die. And when they come for Rhaenyra, they coming for the whole family.
Yep, they come for the whole family. And if he's up there, we are literally putting our child in danger.
And now I have to say, this is now her second or third time saying it. I've been saying it. I'm kind of scared. I'm starting to wonder because this Game of Thrones is this happens with a lot of watchers of Game of Thrones the show and House of Dragon, I guess too. People don't want certain things to happen and they start rooting for people for agendas, and then they ignore the many fucking times that the script is just like, this is what's about to happen. We're like, nah, they'll figure a way around it, and they don't. And they keep doing shit, and the way they write it is so you understand why they did it, but they never. It doesn't really matter why, because the realm treats all this shit as you shouldn't have did that. Like, it doesn't matter if you're like, but she was in love. It's like, we don't care if Rob Stark was in love with this nurse. He was supposed to marry this nigga's daughter.
Right. And the other family was like, oh, word.
And so now at the red wedding, everyone getting killed. And it's like, damn, they did say that would happen. I just didn't care because I was so swept up in this love story. And that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. We're like, how many times someone got to tell us that, yo, Rhaenyra not gonna get to be queen? Something is gonna happen where she either gonna die or her people gonna get, someone's gonna take that fucking throne from her the second that it's time for her to be the queen. And so I'm scared.
And she gonna fight for it. Like, it's one of those things where at some period of time a war is gonna break out. Like, you go, oh, okay, whatever happens, regardless of if she gets it or not, a war is going to happen.
And this show is basically called War, the TV show.
Yeah, War in Depth.
It's not about to be motherfucking damn, I didn't even watch this shit and I was really about to shit on it. I didn't even mean to. But it's not gonna be whatever like Bridgerton was, or like, you know what I'm saying, like this Downton Abbey or whatever. Like, motherfuckers finna get killed at some point. So anyway, he's like, girl, they not gonna be in danger. The Lord's bent the knee to her. Ray is cool. And Rhaenys is like, before Aegon was born?
Right. Because do you think if Aegon would have been born, everybody would have been like, cool, we'll bow before you? And all jokes aside, if you paid attention to some of them niggas' faces, they was not happy.
Right. So she said, listen, the knives is coming out.
Right. They didn't want me, queen. What make you think they gonna want her?
The knives is coming out and they coming. And Corlys like, girl, we control the Navy and half the dragons. Who want to smoke with us? And she looked at him like, to what end? What you want out of this? Power, wealth, pride? Because this shit is going to get us killed. And he was like, justice, nigga. I want justice for you, my vanilla queen. Okay? You should have been queen of the Seven Kingdoms. Yeah, you were robbed of the crown, and I would remedy that small-minded error for you.
Yeah, he was not happy. And she was like, look, I done gave that dream up, and you should too.
Yep. But then Joffrey, that's the white boy name.
Come on, Joffrey.
Joffrey. Not to be confused with the other Joffrey, but
right. This is a different Joffrey.
Joffrey, who's like Laenor's lover, they chilling on the beach together. And Joffrey is making light of the situation, like, oh, so you gonna get married, and then she gonna be your beard, and I'm gonna be your side boo, and oh, you gonna wear a crown, ha 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 ha. And Laenor's not, he's kind of like, man, sad, like, fam, I just want to stay here and be gay.
Right.
I don't want to do none of this shit.
I don't want to do any of this.
But Joffrey's like, nigga, we're gonna have feasts, we're gonna be in a castle, I'm gonna be your sworn protector, I can see you every night, you know what I'm saying? And then they like horseplay and then make out because they in love.
Yeah,
and Joffrey's like,
I was like, oh, he gay.
Yeah, and Joffrey's like, what was it? It was if she's cool with this arrangement of you having some side dick, then clearly she got some side dick.
Right, like so, it's somebody else.
Yeah, we need to figure out who she fucking, so that she don't have one up on you. Because right now you don't know who she's fucking. You just know that she's willing to go out and fuck other people and let you be gay. And Mike Pence was like, what's wrong with that? So on the ride back to King's Landing, they on the ship. Ray sitting by the front of the ship.
That nigga didn't even give time enough for room service to clean up. He was like, look, let me lay here long enough for my hot flash to go down. And he hopped on the boat and got the fuck up out of there.
He's like me at every event. I can't wait to get back home. He's like, all right, this was nice. So she goes, Ray is on the ship. She's chilling. She's staring out at the sea. Sir Kristen comes up in his casual clothes, you know, and he approaches her with the like, hey, so can I talk to you for a second? Okay. She's like, oh, cool. I wanted to talk to you about something too. Now she probably want to talk to him about this arrangement.
Mm-hmm. We want
and-
to talk about something completely different.
Yeah, he says, look, I know you pretty well, and I feel like we could talk, and I know how you always complaining,
because he be listening,
and I know I know you miserable,
right?
And you just want to find a dude and be in love. You don't Leno a good dude, but he don't love you and you don't love him.
He don't love you, girl.
Now, back in Dorn, I used to look out on the sea.
Right.
And I used to see them merchant ships full of lemons and strawberries heading out. And I said, I wonder where they go.
Wonder where they go.
And she said, you asking to leave? And he said, oh, no, baby, I'm not asking to leave. I'm asking for you to come with me.
Right. Let's go together.
We could be nameless and free. Go wherever we like. Love where we like.
Right. You could marry me in these places. Like, we could literally do what the fuck we want to do. Because you're consistently complaining about wanting to be fucking free from this.
Marry me for love, not the crown, baby. Okay? And she sat and walked away for a second and stared off and thought about it.
Right.
And she said, nigga, I am the crown. What? Boy, stop. You play too much.
She was like, dick don't pay bills.
You don't see I'm draped in the finest robes?
Who want to be in love and broke?
You think I'm gonna have infamy with motherfuckers looking for my ass the whole time I'm living with you eating bushels of oranges and going on dates at PF Chang's?
Right, because she understood. She was like, you think we could just run away? Do you know they will be looking for us? Like, we literally cannot run away. The fuck is this?
You want to know what's funny, though? What's that book she always reading? About the queen that ran away, married a nigga from Dorn, and decided, I ain't running no more. This real life. This ain't a movie, dog.
You're right. This is not fictional. And it's also one of them things where shit got real. Like, a lot of people, she complaining, but she ain't really trying to do nothing, because I think in reality, she was like, bitch, I got a good life. Why the fuck would I leave this?
She was like, we got air conditioning. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we got indoor, outdoor toilets. Our toilets is not outside.
Right. So she was like, look, I gotta marry a nobleman, but don't worry, I work something out with him. We can still fuck on the side, baby.
Right. So this sounds like this has been something that's been an ongoing thing between them.
But this is the thing, because like that one dude that wrote in, y'all are too hard on Rhaenyra, and I'm like, I'm not hard on Rhaenyra. Honestly, I don't think I'm hard on any character on the show because I'm not really trying to play favors. If anything, I try to be understanding of the characters on the show because I think it makes a better recap and more. And it helped. The writing is better, but it makes our recap different than most TV shows because most people that do TV show recaps are just like rooting for characters like video games or football or something. And I find that to be boring, so I don't listen to them. So I like the idea of being like the writing this is what's going on with this character. You cannot like it.
Agree.
But it doesn't necessarily make the character good or bad or whatever. Like, as long as they have whatever their intentions. So all I've been saying about Ray is if she wanted to marry for love and shit, she would just walk away from the throne and all the power games and be like, I don't want to play this shit. I am gonna marry some motherfucker I like. I don't care about being the heir. Give it to some fucking man. Give it to Damon. It doesn't matter. Just leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
But there's a big part of her that's like, I do want to be the heir. And even
that's why she been making this stink the whole time.
Yeah, even when she acts out of entitlement or just she's just bored or she wants some spontaneity, she's risking those things, but she's not abdicating those things.
Right.
So, it's like she can get in her own way at times, and that's the best characters get in their own way. But at any rate, she tells this nigga this, and this also goes to something else that I said last week when she slept with Kristen in the bedroom. What I
told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Because I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
Yeah, she was the boss. And so
it was a power dynamic thing. Everyone was like, oh, like, because I think we think being progressive is a woman does something that a man would do, and we go, that's progressive. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Oh, it's a woman cheating. Yay. It's a woman, it's a gay person being violent. Hooray. Finally.
It's still fucked up.
Right. So we don't really seem to have a problem with the violence. We just wanted to be in a different direction.
Mhm.
And if this would have been if this would have been Damon pulling up to a handmaiden in the castle and playing games and then sleeping with her, and with her saying, no, I don't think we should do this, the reception would have been the reception would have been 180 degrees other way.
Mhm.
But with it being Ray, it was like, well, it's a girl that is, and I think a big element was she was kind of taking the power back that Damon had stripped from her, and she wanted to be powerful and kind of do the same thing Damon did to her to someone else. So anyway, this clearly was the case because Kristen was not with the shits. Oh my God.
No, he was like, basically, I've been sitting here listening to you fucking complain all the time about you wanting this freedom, and I'm offering it to you, and you gonna turn around and do me like this. He was like, I am not your whore.
I have never seen somebody, so he was very upset. He was like, so you want me to be your whore? And she was like, yes. He was like, I don't want to be a kept man. I took a fucking oath of chastity to be your fucking knight. I told you how important that was in the woods. I didn't say, hey, I'm trying to fuck. I just said, yo, you say you're not powerful. You're always saying that you're not happy, but I'm telling you, you are powerful. You fucking changed my whole family. You changed my whole life, the direction I was going. Like, you are dope. Like, why? Like, it wasn't you are dope and then I trying to hold your hand. Like, there was no sexual thing for her. So like,
for him,
he clearly was keeping it business,
right?
And so now he's like, you broke my fucking vow, nigga. I sold my white cloak. Okay, I was saving that for marriage or whatever. I don't know what the rules are with the white cloak. He's like, you sold my white cloak. It's the only thing I had in my fucking name. I thought if we was married, we might be able to restore it. And she was like, oh, nigga, that's terrible. The throne is bigger than that.
Right. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than you. And he was looking like, I wasn't trying to get the bag. I wasn't doing this for the baller alert in the Instagram post. I don't need you to keep me. This is not the purpose.
Right. So
he was like, I wasn't trying to fumble it. I didn't want the bag.
Right. He walked off pissed.
Oh, come on. He was upset.
Like he a real, whatever you think of him, he took that oath seriously. And I just think we watch so much Game of Thrones, we forget that there's some true believers. It's like Jon Snow at the beginning. Nigga spent like 3 seasons believing in all that shit, and then
he got fucked up at the watch.
Well, not that he just got fucked up, but that wilding girl was like, so you really ain't getting no pussy out here? He was like, the oath. She was like, okay, but you gonna let that stop you from hitting this? And he was like, I guess not. Like, changed his whole life. He's like, I saw her titties and I like them too. You know what I mean? So we always forget some of these dudes, some of these people believe in this shit. Right. Low key, Allison believes in this shit.
Yes, she does.
She's been they whatever it is, the with propaganda of the throne, they've all grown up in it. Yes. And so they believe in this kind of shit. So he feels used.
Yes.
Because as you can see people forgetting in the chat, essentially he wasn't able to consent. It was his job.
Right.
Also, we find out it's the death penalty. So he probably wouldn't have slept with her if he had a choice, because this nigga don't want to die.
Right.
So like, everyone just thinks it's like, everyone uses 2022 morals like, oh yeah, you just sleep with him and it'll be fine. It's like, no, nigga, I could literally fucking die if anyone finds out. Someone walks in here for any reason, see me in your bed, I'm a dead man. And we find out later, they don't just kill you. So it's real bad for him. And as a princess, sure, you'll probably you'll go on and be fine. Maybe you get disowned and live in a castle somewhere else with less AC. I'm dead.
Right, not me. And my thing is like, nigga, I'm bringing this honor to my family. Like, this is the highest position that anybody in my clan has ever had. Right. And I'm out here trying to do the best I can, and you fucking with me.
So it's bad for him. He's down bad. and he had his nose wide open and found out all this fairy tale shit ain't true. And he walked off pissed, like, yo, what the fuck? You don't really value me at all. You want me to be a side dude. So then now look, I still feel like it's naive, but it don't change that for this character, he thinks that's real.
Right.
Like he believed in this bullshit. So they all arrive back at King's Landing. The king gets out the carriage, passes out. Just faints, just falls down. I don't know.
I'm trying to tell you, he like your auntie at the church. He was like, you know what? Let me just lay down right here.
Right. So someone said, where's the fear when he's trying to push marriage on someone who's just down to fuck? Down to fuck wasn't invented at the time. Like it just was like that wasn't, they didn't invent down to fuck for women and princesses and queens. Like you supposed to get married. This shit sullied her reputation too. She was risking her life that night fucking that dude. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how many times the show got to tell you the rules ain't the same for women, but we're using our 2022 license to be like, why can't they just listen to City Girls and go to the club? It's like, because they fucking did not let people do that.
Yeah, that's why her daddy was on the speedboat to get over there to make these arrangements.
Right. This nigga drove over there with a goddamn shotgun to make this wedding happen, to sneak it through this black family. So, it is what it is. Of course he was pressed. It's not like she talked to him about this shit. She fucked. It sound like they haven't talked since until that ship.
That's what it sound like.
Yeah. So anyway, they get back to King's Landing. King passes out. Allison looks on from the balcony and she looks not amused, not happy they back, sees this nigga pass out. There's no concern in her face. She is done.
Yeah, I think once she found out that he sent that tea to Rhaenyra, she was like, oh, you lied to me. Like, right. You didn't, this is like, we talk about everything and you didn't have the courtesy to tell me this is what you did.
Right. Well, she's now obsessed with what's his name? Lyris or fuck, I'm forgetting his name already. But she's now obsessed with what that dude put in her head, Lyris. That essentially Rhaenyra lied. And she's been played the fool because she had Rhaenyra's back. And she's now determined more than ever to find out, because the implications of this could be in her, with the way that Otto has said it and the way Larys has put it, it could be death for her and her kids. So she's like, I got to find out. I know this bitch ain't lie. I know she ain't lie. I know my daddy ain't lose his job and he was telling the truth. I know she didn't. She wouldn't do that to me. Not my raw dog. Not the homie.
Right.
So she gets what's his name? Kristen to come to the room. And he's like, want me to come to the room for what? He was like, she just want the queen not want you to the room. And he's like, oh Lord, how she ain't trying to fuck too.
He just gets nervous every time he got to go to somebody's room.
Right. So then Allison is up in her room with her badass kids crying, and she starts grilling Sir Kristen about Ray. And she's like, can you have a seat? And you can see this nigga nervous, like he was standing like, yes, your grace. She was like, no, you have a seat beside me. I just want to ask you some questions. And she starts beating around the bush with the delicate questions. And so the way that the questions are framed,
right,
it actually makes her stumble onto a completely different thing, because what she wants to know is did Rhaenyra lie about fucking Daemon?
Yes.
Because she's like, if she lied about fucking Daemon and she took this tea because she was pregnant, did she lie to my face? I can't believe this shit. I asked her, was her maidenhood intact? And she lied to me and said her maidenhood was still intact.
Yes.
Meaning she was still a virgin.
Right.
Now, she didn't fuck Daemon. So she did not lie about fucking Daemon.
Nope.
But she did lie about her maidenhood, which to me is not that big of a deal, but I get it's a huge fucking deal in Game of Thrones, right?
Yes.
I do get that.
Yes, and in Allison's mind, this is a big thing.
Right. And so Allison starts questioning him. And these are the ways she worded it. She was like, the night of Daemon's return, because she was very nervous. there's been a rumor, or rather, my father received an accounting of a lapse of morals that may have occurred between. It is, of course, unthinkable of me to question the virtue of the princess. I hold the princess in the highest regards. I did, however, wonder. I am aware that perhaps in the flesh of youth, errors may be made that breach resolve, breaches, or rather lapse of and you can see Kristen starting to break.
What does GTD stand for? Tommy, I've asked a question. What does GTD stand for?
I answered your question. Got it done. Yeah. Man, you are in a court of law. There are a lot of people in here. We can't hear you. Your Honor, you're going to have to make them speak up. What does GTD stand for? Got the draws, okay?
Mr. Payne.
Yeah, he got the draws.
He got the draws.
Mm-hmm.
He folded because the way she phrased it seemed like she could be talking about him.
Right. And when he said it, I was like, oh my gosh, she wasn't even talking about you, nigga. He didn't know that, but
right.
But I was like, she wasn't even asking about you.
I was sitting there like, bro, please don't say nothing. And at the same time, I'm like, Allison, use your verbs, use your pronouns, use the real names of people. Like, don't just say. She kept stopping short, and it made it sound like she knew he fucked. Right. It was just like, and because things could have happened, and I don't want to implicate. And it was like, he was like, oh yes, it was me. I had sex with. It happened, Your Grace. And he's like, the sin you allude to, I have committed it at her instigation, but it's true. It's no excuse. My oath has been broken. I've dishonored myself. I deserve no consideration. I just wonder if you could kill me real quick rather than castrating me and having me tortured.
Right. He was like, make my death quick. He was like, do you want to do it right now? Here's my knife.
And this is why I go back to that scene, right? Because even on the ship, this dude has been thinking he is going to get killed
the whole time
when someone finds out. And in his mind, his problem is completely different than Rhaenyra's problem,
right?
Or Alice's problem, or the king. His problem is not like, I want the power of the throne. It's like, how can I make this right in a way that doesn't get me killed and honors the vow I took and the oath that I took? Like, he's not throwing this aside. Low key is why I thought he would have been a really dope guard. Like, cause I said, yo, this nigga that's a dude you can trust.
He dedicated. He was about that life.
Yeah.
He was being honest. He was being truthful. And it was one of the things where he actually believed in certain things.
Yeah, I don't trust Damon to be head of security, but I would have trusted Cole to be head of security.
Agreed.
Especially if you don't fuck him. Like, I just feel like that's a dude that's gonna always be like, yo, if I gotta die for the realm, I gotta die for the realm.
Right.
But I think once you start fucking a nigga like this, it corrupts his ass, so he wasn't able to handle it.
All right. And it also was one of those things where, go back to, this is not something that he initially wanted to do. He did not want, he literally was like, no, but because of the power dynamic, he was like, well, let me go ahead and do this, because if I don't, it's going to be a problem.
Let me tell you though, Allison, smarter than her daddy.
Come on. She kept that poker face, boy.
I don't listen. I'm not.
Me and her was the same. Like, bitch, what?
Right, like the way she got herself together so fast. Like, they do that thing with a camera showing you her face, but he can't see her face, and you can see her. She was shook. Like, this bitch fucking the help. Well, goddamn, that might be worse than fucking Damon. Right. Like what? Like I wasn't prepared for this. I thought he was gonna be like, your Grace, I heard Damon, he was smashing her to smithereens, and I heard everything. She didn't expect this nigga to be like, I got the draws, right? So she doesn't lose her poker face. She turns around and said, and he literally is like, just don't castrate me if you have any mercy. Please just kill me regular. And he said,
I want a normal death.
She was like, you can go ahead and go.
He looked like, what you mean? When I walk out of here, is it gonna be like To Catch a Predator?
Right.
Y'all gonna walk up on me and be like, sir, can you please sit down? We got a video. Can we have a conversation? Are you sure?
Right.
He looked like if I run out here, the guardsmen ain't gonna tackle my ass. Like,
Right.
the fuck is this?
Have a seat over there, right?
Right. And she was like, I'm serious. You can go.
So he leave like, okay, I guess I'll live another day. But we now have a peek inside his mentality. This nigga been expecting to die at any fucking moment.
Right.
Somebody was gonna
He's
be
been
like
scared to death the whole
and let
time.
me tell you something. Rhaenyra seemed like the exact type of person you do not want to fuck under the threat of don't tell nobody. Because I feel like Rhaenyra is one heated conversation with somebody from being like, and that's why I fucked Sir Kristen. So fuck you bitches. And now I'm dead.
Right. And she not caring nothing about the repercussions of that statement.
Like, she is not the one. She's like fucking Tiffany Haddish. She gonna tell everybody. So just, you never know. So then in the King's chamber, he is laid out. He's down bad, y'all. Your boy, he's laid on his back. They rubbing Vicks Vapor Rub on his chest. He drinking ginger ale.
Eating crackers.
Like, it's bad. It's not looking good. His arm looked like Clayface from Batman. And I don't know if that was the disease or the treatment that was on his arm. Like, I looked at it a couple of times. I even rewound it. I don't know if his arm is just looking like that or if they put like clay or something on his arm. I know they gave him leeches.
Yeah, I think it's the disease. They just slowly showing it just eat up his arm. That's my opinion.
I don't know. Yeah, I know he's losing fingers.
Right, and they having this conversation and just like they do black people. The black dude was like, hey, I got some medicine that I might think can work. I've been using the leeches, nigga. So let the leeches work. I was like, oh,
his insurance only covers leeches.
Right. I was like, oh, y'all not even gonna do the experimental drugs. I mean, shit.
Leeches, and you know who's that girl? Milk of the Poppy. Because Milk of the Poppy be doing all the work. Okay.
Milk of the Poppy.
Milk of the Poppy is the real MVP up in Game of Thrones, Westeros.
Right.
Okay.
That's what they be taking.
Milk of the Poppy for everything.
Right. They was like, you sick, Milk of the Poppy. Got a headache, Milk of the Poppy.
So his shit is fucked up, you know. Lord Strong gave him some Milk of the Poppy, and then the king was like, where Allison at? And he's like, she's otherwise occupied, my lord. She can't be bothered. Last time she came through, humped her in the middle of the night with rats on the bed. I think she's good.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, Lionel, let me ask you this, fam. What you think about my legacy, dog? Because I don't feel like I'm very accomplished. Okay. It's very, you know, is my presidency. I don't, you know, I feel like people don't support me.
Mm-mm.
You know, and I think that's the vibe I get to.
He can't do shit. He wouldn't be able to get nothing done. So why is he running?
You know, and so Lionel is like, I don't know, dog. It seemed pretty good to me. He's like, yeah, man, but I ain't had no great victories. I ain't had no great losses. My shit boring. The history book's gonna forget about me. They not gonna sing about me in 100 years from now, 500 years ago. They ain't gonna know my name, bro. I'm mid as fuck. Okay.
Yeah, ain't nothing exciting happening in my rule. And he was like, a lot of people would pray for nothing exciting to happen in their rule. Like,
right.
A lot of them would love for peace to be around.
Right. And Lionel's like, my guy, you a good king. Like, all the motherfuckers that did have all this controversy then got tested or whatever, like why you even care about the songs after you die?
Right.
Like, you dead. And Viserys is like, yeah, but if I got tested, man, I could have found out if I was a better man deep inside, I would have known. And Lionel's like, and what about all the people that did got tested and then wish they would have got spared from testing because this shit is miserable? And Viserys is like, yeah, you probably right. You always know. It's best not to know. Now, Milk of the Poppy, take me away. And he went to sleep.
And you know, he went to sleep. I thought this nigga died. I thought the next scene was gonna be them burying him in the casket. Yeah, I was like, did this nigga just say his last word and just die?
They was down bad. He was down that bad. Worried about shit he can't control. So and you know what's funny? He was on the cusp of a great victory. But out of spite, Damon took that away from him.
Yes, he did.
When he killed the Crab King before the Crab Feeder, before help could get there, he essentially took away the great victory that may have enshrined Viserys' legacy of like, oh, he went and won the unwinnable war. But nope.
And Damon knew that. That's why he was like, nope, what you not gonna do is come here and take this away from me. And I've been fighting this bitch for 3 years. I don't think so, brother.
But he was not going to glory. Okay. We see in a not too distant future.
It was a fake out for me.
In the not too distant future, it's a beautiful day, and we see Laenor and Ray flying their dragons together to the sham wedding. And all these ships is coming through. Everybody's coming to King's Landing for this big ass, blowout wedding. And we get an intro from Lord Harold Westerling, introducing the Lannisters and the Hightowers. Hightower is led by Lord Hobart, and Otto is not there. Okay, so Ray rolls her eyes. She's sitting at the table. She rolls her eyes when Jason Lannister comes over and says, oh, it's such a great day, blah blah blah, and whatever. And then Rhaenyra's like, well, I can think of no better man to wed than Laenor, because we know Jason proposed. And Jason's like, where the queen at? Allison ain't in here. And Viserys like, she's just getting ready. And Jason makes a joke. This is why men wage war, because women would never be ready for the battle in time. And Rhaenyra's like, hey, whatever, nigga, move on.
Right.
And then the Hightowers go to step up, but before they can, Gerald Royce, who is the cousin of Lady Rhea, the woman who got killed by Damon with that horse, and he's like, I'm here, and my cousin died, Lady Rhea, and the king offers condolences, and then Rhaenyra goes to go, hey, so if you need anything from the kingdom, but before they can, the Valerians into the party, y'all. These niggas was drip gods. They were dressed to impress. Like, and the thing is, everybody had all they good clothes or whatever.
Right.
But
they was like, this is a fashion show.
Yeah, when they came in, it was like the whole mood of the party changed and shit. It was like
all eyes on me.
Yes, it was slow motion. It was so good when they came in, green and gold, like outfits glistening and shit. And everyone rose and clapped because of course that's the groom's party. And Laenor bows, and then he and Ray take each other's hands and like, my betrothed, and everyone claps. And then Sir Kristen looks on, and he was kind of hating. It was,
I don't like that shit. For sure, bro. I don't like that shit.
He did not like that shit. The Joffrey, who's in the entourage with the Valerians, he looks at Laenor making them fuck me eyes like Marilyn Monroe at the White House.
Hell, you know how he's like, bitch, calm down. What's wrong with you?
I feel people. We'll get to it, but Joffrey, I respect. Joffrey's the opposite of Sir Kristen.
Yes.
Joffrey don't believe in none of this shit, and he's down for the game. Like, he not finna be mad or jealous or nothing. Like, listen, fuck her, have some babies. I don't care. It's gonna be me and you all over King's Landing doing whatever the fuck we want to do. We gonna be having parties and shit. It's gonna be fun and shit.
We're gonna be invited to all the events.
Like, he's not even concerned with whose man that is. He's like, that's my man. You borrow him. Okay, like, he listens to Weekends, the Weekend by SZA. Like, that's him. So
yeah, he was like, he's mine. You may have had him once,
right,
but I got him all the time.
Not even worried about it. That's why I love Joffrey. I love that for him. Kristen could learn so much from him, but he
went trying to play the game.
Kristen, like you know what Lord Kristen, what Sir Kristen is. Kristen talked to Ray on that boat, like how when you dating somebody that really want to go to church every Sunday.
Y'all not on the same page.
Yeah, where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to church, and then you like, I just thought we were doing that before we was fucking. We gotta keep doing that, you know? Like I don't like. Why you wanna? Why don't you? We already are having sex. We living in sin. Let's just keep sinning. It's like no, we gotta keep going to church. It's like you gonna make an honest woman of me. That's how he was acting. So you know he's very much this dick ain't free. So so my man is giving them Joffrey's giving them the fuck me eyes. Then Damon comes in. Y'all, the amount of fucking
I was like, did he even get an invitation?
Like, listen, I'm not trying to besmirch the show. I know everybody loves the show. I love the show. This last 15 minutes of this episode
was just,
it felt like it was written by Tyler Perry.
It was a fucking mess.
The amount of revelation, I was losing count of just what the fuck is he doing here?
I told you it was like the soap operas
every time.
And that's exactly what I said. He showed up and first thing I said was like, is this nigga coming uninvited? Who invited him? First thing I said was, who invited him?
It was just
I was like, oh, he come from the mess.
It was just a lot of dun dun dun.
Yes.
Like every 5 seconds.
Every time they panned over, you was like, who else is gonna be showing up?
Listen, the theme of the wedding could have been.
Okay, now back to the taking the table.
That's what the whole last 15 minutes was.
It was just hit after hit. Damon came in dressed in black and red. The king didn't even have a chair prepared for him because this nigga not supposed to be here. He's banished.
Right. And so I was thinking, no, he was not invited. Because the first thing I was like, who invited him? And I was like, they had to set him up a table. It's like you got an uninvited guest and just decided they're gonna pop up at Thanksgiving, and you were like, well, fuck, I guess I'll make you a spot here in the corner. I was like, yeah, they did not prepare for him to be there.
I knew this wedding was gonna be some shit because I noticed when they cut to Damon in the corner, somebody was setting up a spades table. I said, what? They finna play spades at this wedding?
They finna play talk.
Come on now.
Who pulled the dominoes out?
So the king says, pull up a chair at the end of the table.
Right, because he was like, he didn't want like a big fucking scene at this.
And this is why Viserys too soft for me. I told you was banished. What part of banished you don't understand? You think it's all good because it's a wedding? You think you're gonna embarrass me in front of these folks? You think I'm gonna be too polite to say, didn't I tell you?
He knew it. That's why he came. Mm-hmm.
But he's such an old ass soft nigga. He's like, oh, have a seat. I guess it is a wedding. So then the king starts to give a speech, 4 years ago, whatever the fuck. And he gets interrupted by Allison.
Yes!
What the fuck is happening?
Okay, now back to the taking the table.
She should have been there. She should have been there.
I feel like she did that on purpose.
I do too.
She showed up late and in the middle of his speech.
I think and when she showed up, everybody literally had to stand up because she's the queen.
Right. And she was supposed to be a no call, no show, but she dressed in all green, which is the color of House Hightower. And we get I think Larys talking to Harwin Breakbones Strong or whatever. And he's like, Harwin's like, the king ain't gonna be happy about her running up in the middle of his speech. And Larys leans over like, the beacon on the high tower, do you know what color it blows when it calls its banners to war? And Lord Harwin was like, green. And guess what? Her dress was green.
Mm-hmm. And that made me think, okay, she is playing the game now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, what everybody claimed that they wanted from her, she's about to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was like, I feel lied to. My husband lied to me. Rhaenyra lied to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel stupid. My daddy was right.
And he got fired for it.
Right. And he lost his job.
And I've been humping up under this man that doing my duty for the realm.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else out here
just
having big fun.
Doing whatever the fuck they want to do.
Mm-mm.
And I think her doing that was her sign of I'm tired of playing these games.
Yeah.
And I'm out for blood, and it's not gonna be pretty.
She ain't been coming to see the king.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's clear, you know.
Are we done here?
That was her whole vibe. Okay.
Do not insult my intelligence.
She's on this now. Okay. So she walked in and congratulated Ray on the marriage, and then everybody sat back down, and then the king was like, well, shit, where was I? And Lord Strong was like, combining the houses. He's like, oh yeah, so we about to have a 7-day tournament because this nigga love a tournament.
He love them 7-day parties.
When they have
7 days.
When they have a mother, listen, this nigga love a day party. When they have his funeral, they gotta prop him up in the corner like a Detroit funeral where he like playing video games or something, and everybody just treating it like a party. Cause
he loved him a good brunch. He was like, what we gonna do is do roasted pigs and mimosas. Let's go.
Come on. Cause anyway, he love a tournament. And Damon looks at Ray and he hating, and Allison is disgusted by the king. And because the other thing, here's the reason I think she's disgusted with the king. That I think this is why I said maybe it went a little over people's head. If the king delivered the tea to Rhaenyra, that means he don't believe her. And if he don't believe her, he fired her dad, knowing her dad told him the motherfucking truth.
Right. Yes. So
she's 6:30, she's 7:30 hot right now. Like, I can't believe the nerve of this fucking family. Y'all colluded against my dad. He ain't do nothing but tell the truth and do his fucking job. Like, who the fuck are y'all? And what does that mean for me? Because y'all will get rid of anybody that's in y'all way. And last time I checked, I'm gonna be in the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in the way.
So,
right. And so one of the things where I think at this period of time, you can tell she really thought about the conversation she had out there in front of that tree. She thought about the conversation she had with her daddy. And I think for the first time ever, she was making decisions on her own because her daddy's not there to consult her.
She got to fight she literally by herself right now.
Right. And she's basically like, I got to fight for me and my kids.
This nigga lied on her mama to her.
She did.
You can't come back from that. It's not a matter of us being friends or not. It's a matter of me protecting myself at this point. Like, you'll say anything. You know, like,
yeah, you say anything. And the thing is, for Allison, she was like, just tell me the truth. Like, if you would have told me the truth, I wouldn't be as upset at either party. But she was like, y'all literally purposely left me out in the dark.
As of this moment, she currently hasn't done anything that I consider to be like evil, over the top bad. But they're clearly setting her up to do some shit now, because this has been a very sympathetic origin story for her so far. And they're clearly going to be adversaries from the trailer and the clips they show for next week. So this will be her origin story of like, y'all niggas fucked over my family and y'all be lying. And at some point when your daddy drops dead, I know you coming for me. So I don't trust you. I'm looking out for numero uno right now and my children.
Right, because y'all forced me to. Y'all have showed me that you're not my allies. And when she talked to Rhaenyra, it was a coldness, you know, because you can always tell her. She was like, stepdaughter, and turned her ass around.
She said stepdaughter. That's true.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
Yeah. And you know, they like went to school together, so it was a very calculated like move, you know.
Yeah,
that stepdaughter.
She basically wanted to how Rhaenyra had been treating her for years. She was like, oh, you're getting this coldness back.
Well, also though, keep in mind, off camera through that treatment, they always made a point of showing us she had Ray's back.
Yes, she
did. They have never had a scene where she plotted on Ray until this episode. Like, it's always been some, but you know, that's my dog. Like, she should be the heir. Dad, stop trying to pit me against her. King, you should believe her. Why would she lie? It's your brother that need to go. And now she's like, so this bitch lied. Okay. I thought we was telling the truth around here, you know? And then like people always bring up that she was going to the king's room without telling Ray, which I thought was always an extremely awkward position that she was put in. Right. And they never had sex. Like, it wasn't like she was going to the room fucking this nigga.
No, because
and
Game of Thrones.
This nigga decided to marry her to her surprise, and everyone in the fucking room surprised.
Yeah, she didn't see that coming.
So it wasn't even a matter of like I was always plotting to be his wife. I think Otto knew what would happen eventually, or he hoped. He didn't even know because he was shocked. Everyone in that room had the same like, nigga, what? It's supposed to be Lena, which was gross and creepy. But you know what the point was? The point was he chose that anyway. So she is pissed, and I think this is the quote unquote villain turn.
Yes,
Ray and Lenore start TikTok dancing together in front of everybody.
Right.
And we get all the. You have to watch this scene, guys, because there's so many looks. Allison hating, Kristen's jealous. Joffrey is inquisitively figuring out who the fuck is Ray fucking. Like, he's just looking around the room like, I know one of y'all is her man.
Right, because she came here with him. Like, there's no way she came all the way down here and didn't bring him, because I'm here.
Right. So then Damon looked provocative. Like, I can't wait to start some shit. And after the dance, Hobart, who's the king, the head of the Hightower clan, her uncle, I believe, he tells Allison, "You stood tall, and Old Town stands with you." So now she got her own hive of people that support her because they realize your daddy was done wrong. You signal with the green dress that you ain't with the bullshit, and we proud of you. And so now you got some support.
Yeah, and also on the low, you could tell she was done because she sat down for full as 3 minutes. She was like, "Oh, TikTok dance over, all right," and she just basically gets up,
got up and left,
and moved. I was like, "Well, shit." I was like, "Bitch, you just sat down."
Right.
Shit, they didn't even bring out the food. They didn't bring out nothing. She was like, "I'm good."
Right. And yeah, go back and watch that scene. Nat. She was surprised as everybody else. So then everyone starts doing the electric slide.
Yes, they was like,
yeah, we are at that part of the wedding. It's an interracial marriage.
Yeah,
so
you
know
like,
they gotta
wiggy.
They gotta play all the hits. And you know that the black people had to start showing the white people how to dance. You know.
Yes, they had to do the one with the instructions.
Baymon's out there like, all right, 2 hops now.
Yes.
It's like clap your hands. No, on the twos and fours.
Yeah.
On the twos and fours. All right. So they doing
it was like left foot stop.
Yeah, they doing
right foot stop.
They doing
2 times. Bump.
They doing, and while they doing this, Gerald Royce walks up to where Damon's sitting at the end of the table, and he said, and he walked up. If y'all ever seen Menace to Society, he walked up like that dude that was like, "You got my cousin pregnant." Like, he walked up on. He's like, "I know you smoked my cousin Rhea," and Damon's like, "Yeah, it's a damn shame what happened to her." He's like, "Oh, I know, she was murdered." And he said, Damon's like, "You making a confession?" He said, "I'm making an accusation." And Lord Strong and Viserys, you have to watch the scene. The faces were great. Yes. And the MVP, of course, Corliss, the whole wedding, his face was just
in the background
telling stories without no lines.
Without telling stories.
Yeah. So, but they, you know, it's always gonna be some mess when the Targaryens get together. So this nigga's like, "You murdered my cousin, nigga." That's what the fuck I'm saying. And Damon's like, "In King's Landing, men are made to answer for their slanders, even old bronze cunts like you. Speaking of which, I need to cash Rhea's life insurance policy.
Right.
Maybe I'm gonna fly down on my dragon to collect my coins from Lady Jane, and maybe you need to be there, and we'll settle this thing." And Gerald walks off, and I said, "Man, that did not go how I thought dude was gonna swing on him."
Yeah, that did not go how I was gonna go. And the hand of the king was in the background, just was like, right in front of my salad. Like, the fuck y'all doing here? I am just here minding my business, and y'all over here with the bullshit.
Lord Strong is just like, all right, whatever. But meanwhile, they changing up the song. Now they doing some call and response song. Like, they keep saying, hey,
yes,
sweet Caroline, bum, bum, bum. You know, it's just
yes.
Oh, actually, if it was hey, it was probably the song was probably
Yes, that's what was happening in the background. Everybody was swaying from side to side.
Like hip hop parade. Oh, they was saying some hate song. And then Lena, who I forgot to mention, they got a different actress.
Yeah, they aged her up.
Once again, this show is telling you social commentary. Black children do not stay children for long in the eyes of white America. It's okay. That's what they're trying to tell us. George R. Martin is
both of them black kids up.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Message.
All right, I'm trying to put y'all on to something. Okay. But yeah, so he's but no, they aged her up. So I think the age up signal is clearly you can be a love interest now. We wanted to make a point. You're way too young for this king,
right?
And then we want to make another point of you're not too young anymore. Okay. So they aged her up. She gets on the dance floor, hip hop parade and shit, and Damon gets up and starts flirting with her.
Yes, this creep.
And y'all, she was flirting back. I couldn't believe it. She was DTF.
I think she was too.
Listen, did not see it coming. Did not see it come. I was 100% sure she was gonna be like, boy, if you crazy. You just killed your wife. She's like, I'm sorry your wife died. He said, I'm not sorry.
I'm glad the bitch is dead.
Am I right, guys? Come on. Give it up for yourselves. Like, he's like, I'm not sorry. And she's like, well, you ride a dragon, you're single, you're a prince. You got all the ladies gonna want you. You say that's because all the ladies don't know me. Okay, girl. And yeah, I her man wasn't with her at the wedding. She's supposed to be engaged.
That is right. That is right. Because they did say that she's supposed to get married to somebody in the free country.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. This felt very like he was fitting to holler and she was okay with it. Like I don't want to ship them, but I don't think Damon's a one-woman man because like he started flirting with Ray 5 minutes later, but damn. Then Joffrey clocked Kristen Cole, and he tells Lenore, I figured out who Ray fucking.
By the process of elimination.
It's that Kristen dude. I could tell he was eyeing her down during the dance, and he looks cunt struck.
I know what them googly eyes look like.
And Lenore's like, nigga, keep it down. This is a secret. You could get him killed. You can get me killed.
You can get yourself killed.
Joffrey's like, nah, it's good. Now we know each other's secrets and we can all kind of form like a group to protect each other. And that's when they switch up the song and the king starts grubbing on some crabs, having a good old time. And Allison is looking at this nigga disgusted that he's enjoying the crab so much. I don't know why, but
but you
right, but yeah,
it was probably because he was like, look, I have to pay for another fucking seat in this wedding reception now.
Right. So they playing the funky chicken or whatever, and Joffrey slides up to Kristen like, hey, we both kept men and we need to be friends.
And he looked like, what?
He's like, yeah, you know, they call me the Knight of Kisses. I'm Joffrey Longworth for whatever the fuck my last name is. And I don't know why they call me the Knight of Kisses, but let me tell you this. We both are fucking them. We care a lot about them. We need to protect each other's secrets. And Cole was like, I'm working.
I'm on the clock.
Leave me alone. And he said, all right, but if we keep each other's secrets, then the secrets will be safe and we'll be safe. So just saying, you know. And Joffrey is right that you would eventually have to involve Kristen and whatever subterfuge is going on with this marriage.
Right.
That being said, Kristen is not like y'all.
No, he's not.
He a true believer. He's a fucking he's not built from the same cloth, and you did no reconnaissance.
Right.
You assume because Rhaenyra fucked this dude that it must be all good, but you didn't run it by Ray, you didn't run it by Lenore or anybody.
Right.
And I tweeted at the time, like, y'all are not built the same and you talking too much. Man, that came back. So and I think the thing that a lot of people watching don't see is how much the death is looming over all this subterfuge. I think right now everyone's playing games. We're kind of like, oh yeah, they're playing games. Yeah, you're fucking people. You're doing whatever you want to. It's all about getting power. But at the end of the day, it's the death penalty for all this shit. Like they don't have an in between for the shit where it's like,
ain't no life in prison.
Yeah, it's like if you get caught, you're exiled at best, you know. So Damon dances with Ray after asking Harwin Breakbones to cut line, and then they speak in High Valerian, and he asks her, "You sure you want to do this?" And Lenore gonna bore you. Like, he a good dude, but you ain't gonna love him. And she says, "Didn't you say marriage is just a political arrangement?"
All right, ain't that what you told me a few weeks ago?
He's like, "Well, my marriage is recently dissolved."
By my hands.
And she says, "Then take me then, bitch. Okay, you the man. I ain't married yet. What ain't that your purpose? Ain't that what you tried to do when you sullied my name and fucking
right.
So whoever wrote that email last week, you was wrong. Okay, the show is telling you was wrong."
And the whole time they talking, her daddy is like,
"Yes,
why are these niggas on the dance floor grinding on each other? The fuck is this?"
Now her daddy.
I don't like that shit for sure, bro. I don't like that shit.
So he
was like, "I just want her to get fucking married. He looked like we are right at the finish line. We are 4-1. The fuck is this, y'all?"
The thing with Rhaenyra is, and I think people don't want to admit it because of the show, and they don't want to look like bad people, but or they feel like it's not taking her side. But Rhaenyra is clearly intrigued by the danger and excited by all the shit that Daemon brings. She's kind of with the shits. Like, if it would have been up to her, she may have been like, "Yeah, let Daemon marry me. I don't give a fuck. I want to be free, and I like him." And it does, and we're just like, it's disgusting. It's incest. Well, apparently, if the character doesn't give a fuck, what can we do?
Right.
But she clearly is like digging on him, and they're always flirty and shit. And the actors play it that way, and the script writes it that way. And so he puts his so she says, "Look, if you want to marry me, kill my dad's Secret Service, take me to Dragonstone, make me your wife." Viserys is looking like, what the fuck they talking about?
Right, trying to looking over the crowd at them.
Right. But
and they get like really, really close. I was like, "Is this nigga gonna kiss
He put
her?"
his hand on the side of her face like they were gonna kiss.
Yes, I was
in the middle of the wedding.
I was like, "Oh, hell is getting ready to fucking break loose. The fuck is this, sir?"
Damon would do it, and Ray would kiss him back. That's what I've learned. Ray don't have a line that we have as an audience. It's like, no, her line is like, "Yes, fuck these people. I'm crazy too," and the only reason we don't find out if they kiss,
we don't,
because
a fight break out in the back of the club. Everybody was like, the crowd is moving, because at first you was like, it's something happening, because you just see people moving and almost like bumping into each other and people screaming. I was like, what's happening back there?
Get your hand out my pocket.
I know.
Get your pocket out my hand. Like, it was just motherfuckers was
like, what
swinging.
You said, Mama?
It was like just a commotion breaks out. There's a big ass fight. Ray and Lenore get separated.
Everybody get pushed to the ground.
Sir Kristen is doing a hate crime on Joffrey, apparently. Because this nigga is beating the shit out of this man. And then Lenore tries to break it up. Sir Kristen punches him. Then Joffrey pulls out a knife. Sir Kristen fucking breaks Joffrey's arm. And then some dudes push Lenore onto a table. Lena gets shoved. Ray falls down. Lionel gives Sir Harwin Breakbones the nod, like, brother, go get her.
Come on, y'all see what happened when you have an open bar.
He pulls a Sir Harwin Breakbones pulls a motherfucking Kevin Costner in the Bodyguard. He go get Ray. Ray like, put me down. He like, shut up. You coming with me.
Right.
And then the king start bleeding from the nose. And fucking Kristen,
his blood pressure went up.
Kristen beats Joffrey's eye out of socket. killing him. No, that's not exaggeration.
Yeah.
He beat the man's eye out of socket.
He beat him to death.
And I knew it was gonna end bad when we heard, so I'm outside of the club and you think I'm bum. Like something was up. So then everyone finally, after the death, is silent. And Kristen gets up and says, now who else won't fuck with Hollywood Coke?
Yes, he did, and walked out. Nobody touched him. Nobody tried to arrest him. The guys was like, you got it, dog. You got it. No,
dog. The way he punched Lenore. This nigga's the groom at the wedding.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
That's how it felt.
Yes, and that shows you that they were not about the same. Like, he meant that shit. He was hurt. He was upset. He didn't want to be her whore. And in his mind, he was like, I've already told somebody. I'm already scared. He was like, well, fuck it. They're going to come and kill me anyway. Because he's like, eventually the secret will get out. And in his mind, he was like, you somebody else to know this shit? Like, you just never know what was in his mind. Like, I could see him going, you too? And he had enough.
You look like, this bitch telling people?
Yes, and it wasn't even her.
Oh, man.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, you crazy.
I am.
This nigga is crazy. Sad to see it. I mean, handsome dude, crazy as fuck. Killing people at the wedding. Done clearly without a plan, not a scheme, not a plot, no defense of it.
That was it. All emotional.
So he fucking kills Joffrey and leaves. Everybody is looking like, can I get my wedding gift back? Or
yeah, like what's happening?
Are we still doing a 7-day tournament?
Yeah, I mean, are we still gonna do the feast? I mean, I took PTO time to be here.
Is this part of the tournament?
Right.
Did the tournament start?
I mean, nobody told us. You know, the guests were confused. Somebody was like, but I didn't get my plate.
And Lenore's crying over this man's body because it's like his lover, like he loved that dude.
Yes, he did.
And the DJ turns the lights up and everyone's looking like, damn. And it's to the, like, keep in mind, they supposed to be secret gay lovers. So I don't know how many people was talking after the party off of how hard he was crying over this dude. But clearly that same night, because they show us the table and the food is still on the table. Like no one's even cleaned up yet. But that same night, they exchange vows. Like it was so sad. Like this one right here, y'all. It was brought to you by. Oh wait, it's the remix. It was brought to you by our boys Jagged Edge.
That's what it was.
It was not.
This was not a happy event.
Yeah, this is a minus well wedding. Like it was only the parents there and Allison and the Meister that was doing the vows, and it didn't have that good feeling that's supposed to come with the wedding that started with. It was
Exactly how did you propose, Tanya? Okay, now listen, okay? I said, Gina, you schemed, you plotted, and finally, clank, clank, you trapped me. I got on one knee. I said, yes, Gina, I will marry you.
That's how it felt.
Yes, and y'all, and the thing is, it was dark. They didn't turn the lights. The blood was still on the floor.
Yeah,
you had rats rolling around. The food was on the table.
Yeah, and like he was crying over his murdered lover,
right? And
taking the vows, and they both said, you know, we gonna protect each other. I'm yours, you mine, no matter what comes. Both of them crying, can't look each other in the eye. It's all a farce. What do you say when your side piece murders their side piece?
Right.
The king passes the fuck out.
I told you, Big Mama, he had enough. His sugar got too high. Blood pressure was through the roof.
And I'm just gonna say it, y'all.
The ghetto.
This family is they are ghetto. This is trailer park. This is trailer park shit. Okay, like the way this is going. When the king dies, a secret family showing up at the funeral. Like it's definitely someone singing motherfucking that Monday song, that Mary J. Blige song at his funeral. Like,
Yes.
who knows what other secrets these motherfuckers have? God damn.
This was a mess, and it would not be surprising if the king pushed it, because he was like, fuck it, cancel the 7 days, y'all just get married, y'all in here fucking around, my head hurt because my blood pressure through the roof, I don't know if I'm gonna live to see tomorrow, get married.
He about to pass out anyway. So then he passed the before he passes out though. Well, actually no, the king passes out, but we also get this juxtaposed with Sir Kristen going out to the motherfucking face tree with his armor hanging off of him and shit, and he's about to commit seppuku, which I didn't know they had in Game of Thrones. I thought that was Japanese,
right?
But he was about to fucking commit like ritual suicide, because he's dishonored himself. He's been dishonored. He was really about that life, like that's why I don't buy the whole like, and I get it, you know, it's the internet, it's just easier to say that, you know, like, oh, he's just a bad man or whatever, but I don't think it's as simple as like him being an incel or something like that.
Me either.
I think this motherfucker believes in that oath.
Yeah, and some people do.
Why would you even go kill yourself?
Right.
Like that, if he was just like a bad dude or some shit, he'd probably try to kill Ray and then flee or some shit. But this motherfucker is really like, I ain't worth shit. I'm ready to die. He been thinking he was gonna die since they slept together. Right. And she won't make an honest man of him. He was
like, well, the queen won't keep me, so I might as well do it myself.
And guess what? The queen, Allison, came out and said, don't do that. Don't do that.
And that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because we see her at the wedding. So we know that's not funny. We know she went to the wedding.
So when was this scene?
Right. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Was it before or was it after?
Yeah.
And then the even bigger question than that, so Christian wasn't there. Like at the
wedding.
Yeah,
at the exchanging of vows.
So it's one of those things where I'm like, what are her plans with him? Because this character is not going to just disappear.
Clearly, they're setting up him to be some. It's almost like when Cersei had the Mountain or something. Like they're setting it up for him to be some type of operative or loyalist or something to her. I do wonder how they address this. I know it's going to be a time skip, because this to me at the end was so like weirdly timed, and the juxtaposition of the scenes, I need them to go back and make this make sense, because the timing is weird. He killed somebody at this thing in front of everybody. Then later he goes out to kill himself, or was it earlier? And Allison was out there and said, don't kill yourself. And is he in hiding? Is he banished? Is he, you know what I'm saying? Is there some rule where you could just kill a motherfucker and just be walking around the castle like it's all good? The new husband of the heir is clearly gonna have a problem with Christian doing that. Like, he loved that man. So there's a lot of questions I have that I don't know how you resolve them. And in the next week, it looks like we're getting a time jump. So maybe they write something to be like, well, in that 10 years, this is what happened to him. This is what happened to them, blah, blah, blah. But I do need them to explain this, because this part of it was like shocking. Of course, everything was shaking the table, but it was very also like, but how?
Right. Because the timing of that is really going to matter. Like, we need to see when they spoke, like did he do this prior to the wedding and then turn around and killed that dude? Or was this after he had did this? Like when exactly was the timing? And so it's going to be interesting to see, does she, like you said, make him a lord? She was like, basically come in like, she did you wrong, but I won't. I can help restore your name.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I need to know the answers. I have nothing but questions like you, but they need to answer that, because I would find the idea of he just went back to work to be preposterous.
All right.
Okay. It's not like he killed some no-name person. Like, he killed a very important person to someone that's royalty. There has to be a price to pay, or if you're protected, something else. And then clearly the way they had Allison be the one to tell him not to kill himself feels a lot like, here's her villain turn, y'all. She's actively doing things now that are protecting people that essentially are in the path of Rey and power. Like,
yeah, I could not that this would happen, but I could see her saying, why don't you be my like if time has passed, whatever, she was like, why don't you be my bodyguard? Just to
right, but I'm saying, how do you do that? He's my bodyguard now. He killed somebody today.
Yeah, like I said,
So they gotta explain that. Yeah, there's no simple. To me, there's no simple way to explain that shit unless maybe they do the time jump and we get some reasoning. But I didn't. This was so crazy of an ending. That's why I say it felt like a Tyler Perry ending. It was like, what? Oh, everybody got AIDS, and then it was just the end. And the king passes out, and a rat eats some of the blood off the ground, and that's the last shot of the episode. The preview for next week does appear to show the king still alive, looking bad, looking like the Crypt Keeper, but still alive. And it shows new actresses playing Rey and Allison, so they know
we got a time jump.
It look and a big time jump. So it looks like we're gonna get some some more stuff. But yeah, there was so much little shit I saw in that trailer. Like, it looked like Lena had children with Damon, but it was flash fast and I wasn't sure.
Right.
Like, it looked like a lot of shit from that trailer where it's like, what? So I'm sure next week is gonna be like fucking needle scratch. But God, I love mess, so I love this episode, but I also do feel like the ending was so what the fuck that
they're gonna have to explain
I wish
that.
If they don't go back and explain it, I feel like the episode will age badly for me, because I'll be like, y'all was just doing shit at the end.
Right. I think there will be some form of an explanation, like something will happen, like don't know what, but that can't end right there. Like somebody's going to be on the run, it's a decree, like you just never know with shit like that. Like something's going to have to happen.
All right, y'all, that's it for this week. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to y'all Saturday for the feedback episode.
Yay!
And until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Peace.